Hello, I'm Sarah Bear-Sinnott, president of Oldways, and I'm thrilled to be at the Readable Feast celebrating Chef Anna Sortun and farmer Chris Kurth. Once a year at the annual Readable Feast Culinary Book Festival, Oldways is pleased to sponsor the K. Gifford Award. This award, named for Oldways founder K. Gifford, is given to a New Englander who, through some medium of food, has positively affected our local foodways. Gifford, like our award winners, was a New Englander, and more than 30 years ago, after a career in politics and business, he started the nonprofit Oldways to preserve and promote culinary traditions. He founded Oldways with a vision for the future, that people, societies, and the planet will be healthier, happier, and more sustainable by embracing the old ways of food, cultural food traditions, the idea that a sensible update of the literal old ways will lead to better health for people and for our planet. The work that he started continues today, and we hope you'll visit our website, oldwaysptpreservationtrust.org. This year, the winners of the K. Gifford Local Hero Award are Chef Anna Sortun and farmer Chris Kurth. For Chris, it all started at birth. His family moved to a 19th century Sudbury farmhouse and he started settling in. Chris grew up helping tend gardens, fruit trees, and a collage of farm animals his family raised for home consumption. In 1998, after studying biology, philosophy, and environmental studies at Williams College, farmer Chris started a 5-acre CSA farm in his parents' field and named it Meadowbrook Farm. After 4 years of farming and developing Meadowbrook, he accepted a farm instructor's position at the farm school in Athol, Massachusetts. Now we need to get up to speed on Anna. Anna grew up in Seattle, far from farmland in Massachusetts. Her restaurant career began by washing dishes at a restaurant, and after she took a cooking class from a graduate of La Varenne Cooking School in Paris, she knew that Paris was her next stop. Not knowing a word of French, Anna spent 2 years in Seattle learning French before taking off for Paris and La Varenne. Although she says now she might not have gone if she'd known how tough the classes would be and how far from perfect her French was, she persevered, working at the school, learning a lot, and graduating. Her next stop was Boston, where she got a chef position, opening Iago Bistro in Concord, Massachusetts, for the legendary Monsef Medeb. Then she moved on to Monsef's 8 Holyoke, and then to Casablanca in Cambridge with Sari Abul-Jabain. During her time at Casablanca, she met her future business partner, Gary Griffin, who managed the bar at Casablanca and got an introduction to the food that defines her cooking today. Sari introduced Anna to friends from Turkey he'd met at an Oldways conference in Crete, and the trip to Turkey that followed for Anna was the magical introduction to spices, foods, and a cuisine that changed her life. In 2001, Anna and Gary opened Oleana, and it's been packed by happy diners ever since, with Anna winning the James Beard Best Chef in the Northeast in 2005, just 4 years after opening the restaurant. Time-wise, it's here that the connection was made, farmer Chris selling vegetables from the farm school to Chef Anna at Oleana. However, they needed a little help, and this is where Gifford stepped in. During a long car ride to Maine for an educational session about salmon, Dunn learned that Chef Anna had a crush on Farmer Chris, but wasn't sure he was interested. Serendipity had it that Dunn was about to visit his daughter Apple at the farm school and promised to get the full story about Chris's love life. Apple reported to her father the good news that not only was Chris single, but he had a crush on Chef Anna. It was magic. And happily this resulted in a wedding at the farm, surrounded by sunflowers, friends, and family, and this is where their stories emerge. In 2005, Anna's and Chris's daughter, Sienna, was born, and this spawned a new incarnation of the farm, Sienna Farms. Since then, the farm has grown to 75 acres of diversified produce, serving CSA members, chefs, and retail customers year-round in Boston's South End and at the Boston Public Market. In recent years, Sienna Farms launched their beloved Kids Farm Share, designed to get kids in the kitchen and connected to their food, plus their many and varied versions of community-supported farm shares and employer-sponsored farm shares. This made it possible to expand access to Sienna Farms produce for households throughout eastern Massachusetts and New York City. Always involved with Sienna Farms, Anna has also expanded. Anna and her business partner, executive pastry chef Maura Kilpatrick, opened Sofra Bakery and Cafe in 2008. And then in 2013, Anna with chef Cassie Puma opened Sarma, a Turkish-style meze tavern. Both are huge successes, busy all the time with some of the most difficult to get restaurant seats in town. A new Sofra is slated to open in spring 2024 as part of the Harvard expansion in Allston. Sienna Farms continues to provide produce to the restaurants and underscores Anna's commitment to fresh ingredients and healthy food. Anna and Chris are also generous with their time and efforts, giving to many local charities and needy causes like farms who had experienced great losses during the spring 2023 floods, as well as international efforts such as the relief around the February 2023 earthquake in Turkey. At Oldways, we are grateful for Anna's efforts as a member of the board of directors and as our most frequent chef-host of Oldways Culinarias, with 5 in Turkey, 2 in Greece, 2 in Italy, and 1 in Morocco. Learning from Chef Anna is a huge gift. Anna and Chris, we celebrate you individually and together. Thank you from all of us. Dunn believed that each of us can make a difference. Anna and Chris, we know you believe that as well, and you certainly have made a huge difference for many. If Dunn were here, he'd be applauding you the loudest. We all join him and say thank you and bravo.
Hi everyone, my name is Apple Gifford and I am Kay Dunn Gifford's youngest child and only daughter. And I am so excited about this year's recipients of the Kay Dunn Gifford Award. Chris and Anna are old friends of my family, both my families, my family of origin as well as my current family. I could go on and on about all the many ways that my time has overlapped with them. Probably most fondly, I used to go to Casablanca for dinner with my dad quite often, and it never ceased to delight me that he knew the chef at Casablanca, that she would come out and stand at our table, that her food was so great, and most of all, that she was so warm and friendly and clearly loved my dad. And it's definitely a favorite memory of mine growing up. And then, of course, when Anna started, Oleana, David, my husband, and I went from there for many dates before we got married, and then would continue to go there to celebrate important events in our lives. I celebrated my 40th birthday at Oleana. And then, of course, Chris was working closely with my husband when David and I met. And so I got to spend lots of time with Chris, and I volunteered for him at the farm school, Maggie's Farm, one summer, as a kind of sneaky way to get closer to my husband. And I learned so much from Chris. He worked me so hard and impressed me so much because he always worked harder than I did. Up early, working late into the afternoon, getting my hands freezing cold in big vats of cold water, washing the greens 3 times. I really learned a lot from him. And probably sort of most fondly and most importantly, my dad and I like to think that we had a hand in setting up Chris and Anna. I know they had already kind of set their sights on each other, so it wasn't like we had the bright idea, but we had a lot of fun crafting plans where we could bring the two together. And there was one in particular where he drove Anna and a couple other people out to the farm school when Chris was there. And I think they were able to spend the day together. And he just took so much delight in his role in that. My dad and I both attended Chris and Anna's wedding. And I just know he was so fond of you both and so proud of you both and the work that you do individually and together. And then, of course, we had our first babies at, I think, within a couple weeks of each other. And it was sad when we moved away and that we couldn't raise them together. But anyway, just so much love from our family to Chris and Anna's family in many different ways. And I just know that my dad would be so delighted to know that you are the recipients of this year's award. And I'm glad I can be here to celebrate with you. Congratulations.
My name is Porter Gifford. I want to heartily congratulate Anna and Chris for being this year's recipients of the K. Dunn Gifford Local Hero Award, named in honor of my father. Before saying a few words about Anna and Chris, I want to extend a big heartfelt thank you to both Oldways and the Readable Feast for keeping the spirit of my father and his work alive with the annual giving of this award. Participating in this endeavor, in the very small way that I do, provides an excuse every year to visit with my father in a way that the hustle and bustle of everyday life doesn't usually afford. I am very grateful for that. I know my father, wherever he is very happy that the award in his name is being given this year to Anna and Chris. He was very fond of the two of them. His face lit up whenever he spoke of them, which was often, and I think it's fair to say that Anna and Chris embody pretty much all of the interests and passion that gave meaning to the work my father did, and Sarah continues to do, at Oldways. I live in Cambridge. If I lean far enough out the window here, I can almost see Sofra down Mount Auburn Street to the west, with Sarma and Somerville to the north, and my father's favorite hangout, Oleana, not far away to the east. I consider myself a very happy resident of Anna's culinary neighborhood. This notion was brought home a few weeks ago at, of all places, my neighbor's 100th birthday party. When it came time for the dinner portion of the evening, there were 2 seats at my table that remained empty. Pretty soon, neighbors Joseph and Patty sat hurriedly down and apologized for being late. "Sorry, everybody," they said. "We were at the carrot pull at our favorite farm and lost track of time." I've never heard of a carrot pull, but of course they were at Chris's farm, and the circle was closed. It's not Anna's neighborhood I live in. It's Anna and Chris's. The writer Wendell Berry wrote to his local newspaper about, among other things, the importance of thinking and acting locally. It's a very good letter, and it's too long to read in its entirety here, but it ends with this. If you want to do good in preserving acts, you must think and act locally. A good act, to be good, must be acceptable to what Alexander Pope called the genius of the place. This calls for local knowledge, local skills, and local love. Congratulations, Anna and Chris, for your good in preserving acts. My father would be very proud.